afternoon. It is Saturday, March the 7th. Thank you for tuning in to another hour of Bruce Leonard Leans Left while it's still legal. I am Bruce Leonard, of course, and it is still legal today. But again, we are moving rapidly down the road of not knowing anything anymore. People that we trust to tell us what's happening, you can't trust a fucking thing they say. So, I guess it's up to us to decide. It is Saturday, and so as usual, we have my friend and the host of the History on Fire podcast, history professor Daniele Bolelli, is with us. How are you, my friend?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. What do you think, man?
About which part now? Which apocalypse? Which one of the various ones?
I'm just keep watching, and like he just keeps like you would think that if you were in the middle of something like this, that you would be laser focused on this. But
I love
he's like,
the
oh, now we're gonna throw up Cuba, and
I love the one that was we have already demolished them, and so they apologize and say sorry, but we are actually continuing to demolish them because we haven't really fully demolished them, like I told you a line ago. But now it's like none of it makes even the most remote sense of just basic logical coherence. But the one that's old news in a way. The one that I thought was super interesting, and that tells you a lot about politics, is I don't know if you saw the Robert Kennedy thing,
yeah,
where I mean, people can, some people like Robert Kennedy, some people think he's a complete moron and all of that. But one thing, undeniable is he has built his career on certain ideas regarding public health. And one of them was being against glyphosate in the food and all of that, right?
yeah.
And he was like, okay, fair enough. He was anti Monsanto. He did all this stuff about, okay, there's a consistency there. And there's a lot of people who voted for him, really. They voted Trump because they were believing less in MAGA and more into the Robert Kennedy, make America healthy again, right?
Right.
And what just happened the other day? Robert Kennedy signed off in support of Trump on bringing back more glyphosates in the food.
Yeah.
And, his whole career has been built on the opposite.
Right.
And to me, the interesting part is not like, oh, he's just an hypocritical piece of shit, which, of course, I mean, just by virtue of doing that, yes, you are an hypocritical piece of shit. But like the point is, I honestly believe that that's what he used to believe, and that probably he still believes. But put enough pressure, you're in politics, you bend over in any which direction they ask you. And so they ask you to sign off on the one thing on which you built your career. Now you got to say the opposite. And you say, okay, how high do you want me to jump? And that's the,
Well, don't you think that's the thing?
yeah,
Trump says either you do what I say or you're out.
pretty
And
much,
that's
pretty
it.
much.
And he go, do you want this job or not? And if you do, then you'll sign the fucking paper. And that and you know,
And to me, that's the interesting part because, let's be charitable and give the guy plenty of, let's assume that he really meant what he said. And, I honestly think he probably did because otherwise he wouldn't have built a career on it. Let's assume that he was sincere. Let's assume all of that shit. The fact that then you're willing to compromise on one of your core issues tells you that by the time you get in there, it almost doesn't matter what your beliefs are. You're kind of going to do what you're told because by now it's like, it's Lord of the Rings, right? You're close enough to the rings of power. It fucks up whatever you used to be. You become, you're looking at a whole bunch of Gollum there. People who just have been shape shifted by the ring. And most of them are pieces of shit when they start. And most of them, they will become pieces of shit by the time they are done with it. So even in the most charitable of interpretations, it's still atrocious because it's like, okay, you took something that you strongly believed in, and now you just sold out for who knows what? Is it because you want to remain in power? Is it because you made so many compromises that you don't even remember what you stood for originally? Is it because which part? I mean, you can psychoanalyze what makes somebody sell out that bad, but at the end of the day, the outcome is the same.
Well, before that, I didn't see that particular part, but I thought you were going to say because this happened a couple weeks ago. Remember they signed off on bringing back Roundup.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it. It's the same thing. Roundup and glyphosate is the same
Oh,
stuff.
okay, okay, okay. I was going
Exactly.
to say it's like oh, but
It's the
they
same. Yeah, it's the same story. It's exactly that one, which is what Kennedy built his whole career against that stuff.
right.
And we are like, what just happened there? It's
Well, I
like,
don't think a lot of these people, same as him. Like, I don't believe that they're grifters, all of them.
yeah,
Like Mega itself is a grift, and I don't know if
sure,
you've noticed that there's none of them that don't like sell merch,
sure, sure.
and like they're like fucking bands. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's like, oh, follow me for my political opinions, and also buy a hat and a T-shirt, and
yeah.
and just
The thing is, like,
send
some
us
of
your
them.
money. Like
Oh,
it's
for sure, for sure. And I mean, some of that, I think that's all they ever were. They were all that thing and nothing else. They are used car salesmen. Some of them, I'm sure they had beliefs. I'm sure they had some kind of principle, whether you agree with or not, but at least they were consistent with those. But again, enough time with the ring dangling in front of you, and before you know it, you are Gollum willing to do whatever. And now he's like Kennedy. His whole career is round up the evil of what we do to our food supply, the terrible pesticide, this and that. Is like, yeah, give us more Roundup. That sounds great.
well, I think that for him, he's always been like the Kennedy that nobody ever fucking paid attention to.
Right.
And so I think for him, it's like he's chasing like the glory of his father and his I guess it would be in his uncle, John F. Um, and he's like, oh, he comes from this great family, but he's the one of the family that nobody gives a fuck about. So
But
therefore,
the thing is,
he's willing to do anything to try to achieve that glory. You know what I mean?
which is funny because originally, if you look at his beliefs about health, skip the vaccine part, that's weird, but if you're just looking at the part about the, no pesticide, clean up the food supply, all that shit, and him litigating against Monsanto and all of that, is not really that different of a start from a Ralph Nader, you know?
Yeah.
And except that Ralph Nader actually has principles. And, he may say, fuck you to the Democrats as well, because they are a bunch of sellouts. But, he's stuck with his principle his whole life, right? And that's what he did. Agree or disagree, he had a principle and live by them. Kennedy has principles, does some weird compromise to get into power. Oh, the Democrats are not going to give me shit, so I'm going to go with Trump, whatever I need to do. You can still make a stretch of saying, oh, the guy really believes in what he's doing and he's compromising with the devil because he wants to be able to affect policy, blah, blah, blah. He gets in there and he flip-flops on the policy because his master told him so. And you're like, you had an opportunity to be the Kennedy that was cool in his own way. You had to be the Kennedy's Ralph Nader kind of guy.
Right.
And you sold out like that. Gross,
Right. Well, look at Vance and Hegstad.
Yeah.
Part of their identity was we went to Iraq and it was wrong, and America
Yeah.
shouldn't be involved in all these foreign wars, and that's why we're
Okay.
getting into politics because we're going to make sure that this never happens again. And
Yeah.
and now look what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't. These
No,
people don't have any fucking principles.
they really don't. They are monsters, and that's where it's at. And and you're dealing with like, I can't think of too many people who, I would imagine that most people who are attracted to the game are pieces of shit to begin with. And those who are not pieces of shit to begin with, they will be by the time they've made enough compromises and access to keys to get to the place that they need to be in power where you have heard of them. It's like they'll keep a couple of people who stick to their principle, a la Bernie, a la whatever, and then just have them on the sidelines just to say, hey, we allow this. But the reality is that, the rest it's a field of monsters, some clearly way worse than others, but you're still dealing with a field of monsters.
Yeah, I think that's what the Democrat Party has a problem with now is that the progressive leftists that make up the large majority of the party have been largely ignored for all these
Complete
years as the Democrat
forever.
Party has moved more and more and more to the center,
Yep,
and
yep.
not to the center and even more to the right. And
I think the way to do it, you would have to create, because if you split from the Democratic Party, the problem is that Republicans will win every election there is, which of course is even worse. And I think that's what the Democratic Party does. It's like, what the fuck are you guys gonna do anyway? Vote Republican? No. So split, okay, you're giving power to Republicans forever. I think the deal would have to be talk to people on the extreme right into convincing them to split from the Republican Party, kind of split the Republican Party in two. Then you can split the Democratic Party in two, have an actual leftist party, have a centrist Democratic Party, have a centrist right Republican, have a super right wing former Republican. And then you have four parties, and then you can have something with representation and stuff like that. But as it is, nobody's going to start a third party because all they are doing is they are giving a win to their, never mind that you can't structurally for a bunch of reasons, but also all you're doing, if you start, remember how much shit they gave to Nader when he polled like 2% in 2000? They were like, it was your fault that George Bush won. And it's like, if you are giving no space to any kind of leftist voice in the Democratic Party, what the fuck do you want people to do?
well, not that I like her at all,
Yeah,
but they did the same thing to Jill Stein.
totally,
They
totally,
were like,
totally.
it's Jill Stein's fault that
Yeah, yeah,
if she
yeah,
wouldn't have
yeah.
taken this 1.8% of the vote, we would have
I know.
won. Like that's like, and it's probably true, but
I mean,
they create that problem themselves by not representing the fucking people that she
absolutely.
represents. You know,
And the reality is that by the time you are down to voting to Nader or Jill Stein or whoever else outside of the two-party system, is because you are so fed up with the two parties that the people who vote for them probably just wouldn't vote. They are not going to vote for the other guys, but they are not going to vote for anybody. They're not going to vote for Hillary Clinton. They're going
right?
to be like, fuck you and Trump and all of them. I'll just not vote. And then, fucking Nader steps up and they're like, okay, I'll vote Nader, whatever. But they are not people that are going to vote for one of the two major parties anyway. And it's the shit of being stuck with two parties that essentially takes order from the same corporations. They just go about it in different ways. And Republicans are clearly way more batshit crazy. But at the end of the day, they are still all gonna kiss Israel ass. They are still all gonna do whatever. A lot of some of the policies are gonna be similar. Some are not. Some are gonna go way more hardcore. But in a lot of things, you're taking order from the same masters.
This is true. Um, I've said that for a long time that the two party. But see, this is what's interesting is when I was in Vegas, I met these women that were from Europe in a bar, and
Yep.
we were talking about shit. And this, I forget where she was from, like fucking uh, Belgium or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Some little country
Yeah.
over there in Europe. But she was, and I was saying that the problem in this country was a two party system, and like you said, like we need to break it up and have more parties. And
Yeah.
she was trying to say that, well, that just makes it so nobody fucking, it's a chaos. Basically, was her argument. Was
Mhm.
was when there's all these parties, then there's no fucking central, you know. Basically, she was saying she didn't like it that way. That
Yeah.
she thought it watered everything down to,
Yeah.
and then nothing could get done because everyone just argue with each other. Like
I mean, the thing is, it sucks no matter how you multiplies it. It's like having two parties is shit, having 22 parties is shit. Is like it's very easy to idealize a multi-party system when you don't live in it, and vice versa. It's very easy to idealize, oh, simple two parties when you don't live in it. The reality is that both systems suck. Clearly, the way the two-party system in US suck is so bad that I think more option and having proportional representation would be considerably better. Of course, there are still ways to game the system. There are alliances that you make and break. There's all sort of shit that happens anyway. So it's not like that would be paradise. I think it would be at least 5% better. I'm not like, oh, it's gonna be amazing. I'm like, it would be a tiny bit better.
Well, there was a time when people actually cared about the. I mean, in my lifetime, even when I was growing up, like everyone in the government, whether you were Republican or Democrat, they still cared about the country, and they would get together and work together to create
Right.
bills that would
Yeah.
advance, help the people. Whereas
Yeah.
now they don't speak to each other hardly at all,
Pretty
and
much.
the only bills that they put up are agenda bills.
Yep.
Like we're
Yep.
going
Yep.
to advance our agenda, and no matter what, and if you don't like it, we're going to shove it down your throat. Like.
No, I mean it is now. Yeah, it's a
And,
sad game, and
it's like you're not
most
doing
scammers.
anything to help the fucking people.
No, not
It's
whatsoever.
more about advancing an agenda and sticking your thumb in the other guy's eye.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what
and really about pocketing money, and it's straight up corruption. It's Kennedy selling out every principle he ever stood by because he probably likes his job and the money and the power that goes with it. It's straight up gross. But yeah, man, the joys of yeah, who the fuck knows? By next week we chat again. There's like 22 more wars, 15 more Epstein scan. It's like it's one every day, man.
Well, what's interesting is you brought up the Lord of the Rings earlier, and
Yeah.
I had never really looked. I mean,
Mhm.
like I know where Iran is on a map and
Yeah.
push it, but I never really looked at a topographical map of Iran. And if
Yeah.
you look at it, it literally is like Mordor. It is surrounded by mountains on all
Yeah.
sides. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
how in the fuck do you think you're gonna get in there? Where because obviously if it's all mountainous on the border regions, there's only certain places where you can get through. And
Totally.
like you're gonna tell me that they can't fucking Thermopylae these places where you want to
Yeah.
come through here? Well, it's gonna cost you a lot of fucking blood. Like
It's it's completely stupid. I don't remember if it was you who made this meme or I saw it somewhere else, but I remember seeing this meme that was I ran from the Epstein scandal. Where it was like it's like yeah, it's a fucking distraction again. It's like and you're doing it because it's pretty amazing the power that Israel has on American politics.
oh yeah.
It's really bizarre to think that a country that's about 22 people living in it and is like a dot on the map can have that much power. It's bizarre, but it's definitely happening.
Oh, it's because they're religious fanatics. These
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
these people are the end times people. They
yeah, yeah.
believe that if they
Right.
push this enough and they do this enough, that
They got
Jesus is gonna come back
yeah,
or whatever. And
yeah, yeah, of
it's
course.
it's insane. I was
It is.
saying this the other day. It's like, let's say that your theory is correct, right?
Hmm.
And you're gonna kill all these people to bring God back. Well,
Yeah,
what is God gonna think about you now?
I know, I
And
know,
like,
I
oh,
know.
you killed all these fucking people. It's like he might come back, but I don't think he's gonna be happy. Like
No,
it's like,
it's atrocious.
it's
It really is. It's yeah, we're in between like the two sources of evil in the world. It's basically insane true believers like the hardcore fundamentalists, whether they be jihadist or Christian nationalist or whatever the fuck. And then there's the pure greed. As long as I get 3 more cents, I'll screw over the entire planet because that's my thing. And those are usually, it always ends up being one or the other, right? It always is the power hungry, greedy fuckers, or it's religious fanatics. Some cases, not even religious. Sometimes they can be like hardcore communist fanatic, like, USSR under Stalin or some shit. But like true believers or ultra corrupt. Those are usually the two poles that fuck over the earth.
Or in this case, both.
Yeah, exactly. And in many cases, it's like, hey, why not both? We can be
It's like
true
these people are
believers.
fanatical and corrupt.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
No, it's nuts.
for the Christians, it's the same thing you said about Robert Kennedy.
Yeah.
Is to get behind Trump is to sell out every fucking principle that you ever had as a Christian. You call yourself a
Totally.
Christian. This
Totally.
guy's the fucking most scumbag person you can fucking find. And you're
Of
like,
course.
oh yeah, the guy might have, of course he's a fraudster and a serial liar and a adultering cheater on his wives.
Yeah.
And he may or may not have touched little girls as well. But yeah, he's advancing the Lord's agenda, so therefore we must get behind him.
I know. It's nuts. It's completely insane.
And like it's the same thing that you were saying. It's like they at that point you don't have any fucking principles, do you?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's yeah, man. Fun world we live in. On that note, I'm gonna go play with my daughter. That she's at home today. She wanted me to teach her Tai Chi, so I think that's where we are. We were in the middle of some Tai Chi session before, but I was like, I want to hop on, talk some shit about these horrible people. Let's go back to doing Tai Chi. So that's
All right, my friend. You tell your daughter I say hello.
you bet. Have a great one.
Thank you for sparing me some time.
Good chatting with you as always.
All right,
Have a
man.
good one.
All right, I'll talk to
Bye.
you later. Daniele Bolelli, everybody. He's right. These people have no. Oh yeah, the Austrian painter. This is my favorite Jewish transgender streamer. I'm none of those things. I get it though. I am close to it, but I am not the ones. It's like that. And I'm not Jewish. We go through this every fucking show. People jump on here and say, "Are you a Jew?" It's become cliche at this point. But he's right. There is no principle, to any of this. But like I was saying to him, is you would think that you would want to do one thing at a time, but no. Trump knows that he only has 3 years left, and so he's going full steam ahead with every fucking batshit crazy idea he's ever had. He's blockaded the Cuban people to the point to where they're starving, and he's like, I want to make a deal to get rid of the communist government of Cuba. Like, okay, but what happens then? Who are they going to put in power? He literally thinks that he can go around to all these other countries and demand to them that they acquiesce to him and let him pick their leaders for him. I tell you this, we here in America are no longer the bastion of freedom and all that bullshit that they've been selling for the last fucking 200 years. And that America is the land of liberty and opportunity, and we're the most free country in the world. And it's like, I don't even believe we're the most free country in the world anymore. And as long as they keep letting billionaires consolidate the media, we're not going to be, because you can see it already, the propaganda that is uniformly spread across now even mainstream media, because they said like Trump got his buddies to buy CBS. Now they're going to buy CNN. Now they're going to, I don't know, Laura. Sometimes it gets wacky when me and Danielle are on together, because I think that the two cameras wax out the video feed. But now that he's gone, it shouldn't be doing that. But I don't know. Plus, I told you, I've said before, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a tech guy. I threw all this shit together and I fucking fired it up. If there's a problem, I call Jerry in a panic, my friend that knows that. He has access to my computer from his computer, and that's how we set this whole thing up. I didn't even set this software up myself. He did. I mean, I sat here while he was setting it all up, but see, no. I don't know how many times I gotta say. I need to put a sign up behind me that says, "Not at you," so you'll just stop fucking asking. Hey, look, Chico, Laura. That's what my girlfriend said I look like. Yes, he's like the Family Ties guy. Mr. Keaton. Michael Gross. But like I said, you would think that you would focus on one thing, but he's not. He's focusing on everything at once, which means you're not going to get any one thing, accomplished. You ever tried to do 10 things at one time? Chico says, I bet we've been together for a million years. What do you mean by that? Please elaborate. I don't know what that means. I don't know what's going to happen, and beyond the fact that, like I said, they keep seeming to think that they could just bomb Iran, and eventually the Iranians are just going to surrender and give up, and that's not ever going to happen. I hope you realize that. How long has the Iranian regime kept their people down? I wish I was Affy, or if I was the actor of SpongeBob SquarePants, I would be fucking rich. I would definitely take a job. If anybody out there is doing any animation projects or whatever, and you want a wacky voice, I'm here for you. And I am open for business. Chico Second said we started a dream for the night we kissed, and I can't remember what I ever did before. Well, I'm flattered. That must have been in a dream or something, but... Wait, you look like the actor of Donatello from Teenage Mutant Ninja. How do you know what he looks like? He's a fucking turtle costume on. No, I am a... if we haven't been here... What's up, Hook? It's good to see you. Thanks for coming back. I gotta say, I've been having a lot of new viewers lately, and I appreciate that. If you're new to this show, like I said, I'm here live every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States, whatever time that is, in whatever part of the world that you're in. And like I said, I come... the theme song from Family Ties. Is it? I don't even remember. I never watched a lot of sitcoms. I gotta admit, I never was a sitcom person. So, Fat Boy Not. Alfie says he did a thing about I'm a voice actor, and then they say the voice line in the show when they said it. Oh, okay. I never saw it, so I don't know what he looks like. Chico says the theme from Family Ties is the second best theme song in entertainment history after the theme from Top Gun. What, the Danger Zone? You big Kenny Loggins fan? That song from Caddyshack was alright too. Whatever happened to Kenny Loggins? Remember in the 80s, there was a time when Kenny Loggins made the music for almost every fucking movie that you saw. Right? He did Footloose, he did Top Gun, he did Caddyshack. Chico says Alex P. Keaton would be so proud of Trump. Yeah, Alex was definitely a young Republican, right? You know that. Budding fascist. But see, Republicans are not even the same as they were when I was growing up. Once Barack Obama got elected, a black man getting elected president scared the shit out of Republicans. So much so that they decided to embrace the ultra-Nazi right wing of their party that they had previously ignored for the most part. Hey, Real Lane, thanks for coming back. See, Chica, my girlfriend Laura says that there's no way that the Jeffersons had the best theme song. Moving on up, man. Come on. To the east side. Chico says, imagine Alex Keaton doing Charlie Kirk. Yes. He was definitely the prototype for those kind of kids, you know. And Charlie Kirk, if you think about it, was probably, well, how old was Charlie Kirk when he died? I don't even know, but he was probably a young kid when Family Ties was on. He probably saw Alex Keaton on TV and was like, yeah, I want to be like that. Walking around wearing a suit coat and shit. Chico says, fair call. Yeah, moving on up, come on. It's got to be a top 5 of all time. Yeah, my mom was married to this guy who was obsessed with MASH shit. And at one time, especially back in the day when there wasn't cable, there was only 3 networks. MASH was on 24 hours a fucking day. You could watch it. I'm not kidding. You could watch it 5-6 times a day. And he would. I think I've seen every episode of MASH at least twice. Because I was a kid and I lived in their house and they controlled the television, you know, like, so he was watching MASH all the fucking time. But that song. Chico says Perfect Strangers theme was okay too. Man, you're very familiar with the, I would guess you're American because you're very familiar with American television. You might know more about it than I do. Perfect Strangers. Wasn't that Tom Hanks? Perfect Stranger? Or was that the one with was Perfect Strangers Balky? Yeah, Chico, you always change the channel. Yeah. Well, I was a kid. I couldn't. It's like being in a torture chamber. That's why I was just like, I think I just read a bunch of books, and I did. And just stayed in my room for the most part, because if you went out there, MASH was on. You're Australian. How you know so much about American television? They show all of our reruns there in Australia. Real Lane says he loves that Kirk was on camera. Yeah, Chico's cousin Larry and Balky. Yeah, Balky. What happened to Balky? He did that show, and then he was also, yeah, Laura's right. Like, now I'm stuck with my mom, and she watches Law and Order SVU, just like that guy that now makes perfect sense, because she was married to the guy who watched MASH over and over and over, right? And now she watches Law and Order over and over and over and over. So it's like, okay, it makes sense now how she was able to put up with that. Chico says in the 90s, most shows were American. Really? You don't have Australian sitcoms? You only have, what, like game shows and shit? Because we just saw Jim Jeffries. He was a bad guy in the movie. Yeah, he was also in Beverly Hills Cop, when he played the like gay guy that worked at the boutique or whatever. He had like another lady that had like a foreign accent, but it wasn't Russian. It was like more like French or something. But no, that's my point. Was he wasn't a bad guy. Chico says MASH was on after school, so all the kids stayed outside. Right? Want to go inside now? No, the MASH is still on. It's like, we gotta get out of here. MASH is another, like, MASH is about the Korean War, which we did not win. You know, if you think about it, America really hasn't won a war since World War II, and we didn't win that alone, right? We won that with a big giant coalition of other countries. But all the wars that America's gotten in since, we lost. You could say, if you want to rewrite history, like, well, we won Iraq or whatever. Like, we didn't win Iraq. We didn't really win Afghanistan. Taliban's still there. To this day, right now. Taliban was there before. We came. Taliban went away for a minute. Taliban came back. We left. Taliban's charge. Stupid Tomato says, sometimes I like to put on a cat suit and stare into people's windows. Bat around the ball. Like lay around in a refrigerator box. Chico said they had MASH. Man, you watched a lot of TV. He even knows the schedule. They had MASH on after DuckTales. No, you don't have any Australian, soap operas or Australian crime shows or Australian sitcoms. You guys don't make TV shows? Like I said, me and Laura saw Jim Jeffries not long ago, and he said that he hosts some kind of game show in Australia. Chico says that we had an Aussie soldier on a U.S. submarine that blew up an Iranian boat. Oh, yeah? Really? Why is he there? I didn't read about this. I have to look into it. My favorite is when they sank. What's up, Dinesh? Thanks for coming back. They sank that ship that was unarmed. It was coming back from India. Yes, Ken Surge. That was his name. In Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, but that's not a war, 420. You kidnapped the president of Venezuela out of his house. Yeah, it's a success, but it's not a war. It's not winning a war. 7 p.m. weeknights meant home and away. Google it. What? That's the Jim Jeffries game show? That's all the soldiers could afford. But 420 says that kidnapping Maduro out of Venezuela was a success. Yeah, but that's not really a war. Mushashi says, do I know any technique on how to sleep? No, not really. Eat weed gummies. They always knock me out. Marijuana gummies, that's what I would say. Chico says we're too busy paying for immigrants to have a better life. Really? You got the same problems there that people claim we have here? Yes, I do, Cool J. Dinesh says India versus New Zealand Cricket World Cup final. Yeah, I know. My one of the guys that delivers to my store is an Indian, and he's always watching. He's watching the Cricket World Cup on his phone all the time when he's waiting for the papers. And so I was talking to him, and I was like, "What are you watching?" He was like, "Football." He's like, "No, cricket, man." It's like, I don't know much about cricket. 420 says it may not have been a war, but it was a warning to anyone who wanted to test their luck. Yeah. One thing to Israel now, I'm not saying that I don't agree with it because they were Nazi scumbags. But when Israel went around the world and just kidnapped people in any country that they were in and just drag them out, and take them back to Israel and fucking and basically put them on trial, put them to death like they did to Eichmann and those guys. That's when you knew, like I said, that Israel, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want. And to dare anybody to do anything about it. And no one has for all these years. And so it's led to this feeling that they could do whatever they want and get away with it. And then this last couple years in Gaza, free Israel from what, Mustafa? Where am I from, Dinesh? I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, my friend. United States. Love Dix. What? Before Hitler or after Love Dix? Says he liked how Germany was back in the 30s. What? Fake? You know that, right? All of Hitler's achievements that they say were either like the Autobahn was already a plan, was it before he even achieved power. He just took the credit for it. It wasn't his idea. And all the rest of it was complete bullshit like Trump. You know, where he tells you that everything's great even though it isn't. And people believe it because they want to believe the leader of their country is telling the truth. You know, but it wasn't. Now I will admit it's actually clever. Dark, but clever. Dinesh says, in the Olympics 2028, there is cricket also. Oh, that's good, because, like I said, I don't know much about it, so except that they hit a ball. It's kind of like baseball where they have a bat, except the bat is flat. It's not... They says he was a genius. Oh, yeah, he's a genius. He was a genius fucking, like I said, scam artist and bullshitter. Invading Russia, not really a genius move, was it? Right? You realize that he could have won the war. If he hadn't invaded Russia, World War II would turn out completely different. He lost the war by his dumbass decisions. Oh, yeah, you believe that, Vay? Why do all of you hide your identity? I'd like to know that. None of you seem very proud of yourselves for being Nazi pieces of shit. You all have aliases and hide your fucking name, like you're using that fucking Crusader fucking profile picture. I don't know what that means, Chico. 3L says Jesus was a Palestinian. That's probably true. Muslims, we are leftists, and that's what we believe, right? I mean, I was thinking about this today. The very fact that we're in this situation because of fairy tale books that are thousands of years old on both sides, you know, like you would think that human beings could evolve to a point where you'd realize, like, you know, hey, this isn't true, you know, come on. Like, the very idea of it, that God would create a world, right, and then choose which people are good and which people are bad, and they're all God's children, am I right? Right? He created the whole thing. Right? If you read the Bible at all, yes. I've seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, yes. I've seen most of them. There's like 7 of them. The original 2 are the best. The third is like, Cool J says, patience, heed, the Overton window shifts more each day. There will be a moment very soon when we aren't forced to hide, as you say. Please, just stop. You know what's going to happen? You're going to get your asses kicked again. No fascist movement has ever lasted because you, my friends, are the minority. No matter what you want to say or what you want to think. And there are times when you grow a little powerful and you're feeling your oats. And, but you always wind up getting your asses kicked. Come on. All right, love dicks, are you serious right now? You're going to talk shit like that while the Epstein files are out there? Really? Well, after all the things that the Catholic Church has done. There was somebody on here the other day was trying to say that all you guys do is accuse people of things that your own people be doing. I don't know much about India, Dinesh. I do have Indian friends, and Laura is a nanny for an Indian family. J.D. Vance says, tell us about atheist ideologies like communism and capitalism, please. Why? Well, you see what capitalism is. All right, first of all, you're operating from a false premise. I've already told you 100,000 times I'm not a fucking Jew, okay? Not Jewish. Never converted to it. I wasn't born a Jew. I'm not a Jew. Why are USA girls so attractive? Come on, man. Because it's a big country. There's lots of variety. Unprecedented to access to information. All your information is bullshit, bro. Well, I listen to all your, not all of them, but some of your right-wing fucking jerk-off fucking podcasters and shit. All they do is lie to you. And you just fucking suck it up because you want to believe everything they say. They're full of shit. Benny Johnson lies every single day. 25 fucking times a day. Clickbait posts that are complete bullshit. Iran surrendered! Ah! And then you guys click on it. And make him rich. Well, besides his Russian money that he fucking collects too. Please, Cool J, go fuck off. I'm not a Jew, bro. My mom's not a Jew. She's upstairs. She's not a Jew. She's Irish. It's like... Dinesh, there's another reason why American women are very attractive, because this country is very shallow. And he's like, sexy bodies, girls are so sexy in the USA. Of course, because they work out all day and then they're all taking diet drugs and getting plastic surgery and fake tits. You know, that's... Three houses. See, you already said that. Jesus was a Palestinian, and I said I probably don't disagree with you. If you read the Bible, it's a ridiculous story. Right from the very beginning. There's only two people in the world. At first it was just one. And then he was like, oh yeah, you forgot to make a woman. There's a perfect God who forgot. Yes, Laura, some are natural beauties like yourself. That is true. Free of artificial, Mushasha says, in the USA have most gays. No way, bro. It's gay people everywhere. That's another thing is to be hardcore, like against everything, like the most right wingers. Like you have to deny reality, right? Well, gay people gone. There's always been gay people. How do you know? Because it's in the fucking book, right? If it's in your book, it means people were fucking. Even back then. Like, hey man, that's my girlfriend, JD Vance. She ain't doing no OnlyFans. No. I fell for that shout out bullshit before. See, there's a Viking that says, may Odin be with all your brothers and sisters. See, I believe all gods are ridiculous. But if you read the Bible in particular, right, it starts out, he created a man. And it just left him there. Hello. I'm like, oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. And he was like, hey man, I'm lonely and I want to fuck something. And he was like, thank you, mustache glasses. And so he's like, well, okay, give me your rib and I'll make you something. And he makes a woman, right? And then, hey, now that I made this woman, here's a way for you to procreate and to spread my creation. And so they start having kids, and what happens? They have two brothers, and one of them kills the other one with a rock. Then Abraham fucks a bunch of his daughters, and there's a bunch of incest, and he has a bunch of kids, which creates a population of people, right? Who are all one people and all speak one language, right? Then those people go, hey, we want to get to God. So they start to build a tower that goes to heaven. And then God goes, hey, wait a minute, you're getting too close to me now. And so I must cast you all. And God casts them, and they all spread out everywhere and start speaking different languages. And that's how it all happened. That's what, according to the book. And then God goes, fuck these people, I've decided I hate them. And he goes to one guy and says, hey, I need you to build a boat. I'm about to kill all these fucking people. And you're like, this is insane. It's not. But here we are 2,000 years later, and we're at war and killing each other. based on these books, that these people think that if they kill enough people, that Jesus is going to come back for them. He's going to come back and go, hey, you're a bunch of fucking murderers. Which Ireland? Yeah, what do you mean, which Ireland? Seriously. They were, my grandparents were Irish. From fucking Ireland. Yeah, but Chico, what do you mean? The whole universe magically appearing is just as fucking plausible as there's a God who doesn't give a fuck about the worlds that he created. Like, right, if you read the Bible, there was a time when God used to talk to people, right? Come down here and talk to people and actually interfere in human fucking affairs. And then at one time, he just hung up the phone. Said, fuck y'all. They just left us to start killing each other. Right? Chico says, or Curtis said, it's all simulation. Chico said, that's what I just said. Yeah, but who's simulating it? That's an interesting theory, but again, who's in control of that? No, listen, you got to understand, Chico. Listen, I'm not bashing Christians, or I'm just giving you my interpretation of the book, and thinking if you read this fucking book, there's only one conclusion that can be drawn, which is that this is fairy tale mythology just like anything else. You know, at one time, Roman mythology was the predominant religion in this world, right? Until Constantine gave it up and converted it to Christianity. So religion is what they tell you it is. Really, but hell is not real. Universal salvation is a fact. God will save everybody. Will he? Where is he, bro? He must be getting a lot of entertainment out of this shit. It's like, Chico says we agree. No, I'm saying is, I've said this a bunch. Whether you're a Muslim or you're a Jew or you're a Christian, I don't have to agree with it. It's just like, life is hard. It's tough. And whatever helps you to get through it, I'm all about it. What I don't like is when they start flexing on other people. Cool J says everyone except the Jews. Of course you would say that, because you're a Nazi piece of shit. I'm not telling you to get off the show because I want varied opinions, but, I mean, come on, guy. That whole Jew thing has been on over and over and over and over and fucking, you know. Exactly, John. So God didn't save those girls that Trump raped, or Epstein girl, you know. Chico says, me and you, Bruce, come up with the same conclusion. We just come from different directions. Yeah, that's cool. And again, I don't go to church and bust in and start yelling at them. You guys are full of shit. You know. It's like, if that's what. Thank you, Chico. I'm glad for that. Like I said before, I don't do this show to try to tell people what to think. This is an entertainment show. You know, I'm here to inform. What do they call it? Infotainment. You know, I watch a lot of news and read a lot of shit, and I've always done this my entire life, and I know a lot of history, and I like intellectuals like Daniele. So I bring him on here and we can talk about what's going on. And Blake Rook is correct, says there are way too many hateful people in this world. That is correct. 100%. But that's what I mean, is these religions help foment hate. Right? They create groups, and then you have to point at the other group. Like there's all these people like Randy Fine now who are like talking about we gotta stop the Islamization of America and the Sharia law and all these things that aren't true. Chico says you don't sound like you're just regurgitating shit you read online. It's refreshing, man. Thank you. Thank you. Because I don't do that. Dude, I'm not a fucking Jew. How many times I gotta tell you that? And it's weird how... the idea that deems... You know what's weird to me, bro? Is that you can watch what the Germans did to people and consider that as not evil. So... when you come at me with that, like, frame of reference, everything you say is shit to me. Because, obviously, you're just a hateful jerk-off. Yes, mustache glasses, that's true. It says any idea or ideology that deems its superior and domination over another seems inherently wrong and narrow. Correct. Correct. But the Muslim Christian thing's always been like Coke Pepsi, hasn't it? Like, they've been battling for thousands of years. It's like, my guy's the guy. No, our guy's the guy. No, our guy's the guy. And if you don't believe it, I'll kill you. For our religions of peace. Religions of peace, right? Where we have aircraft carriers and bombs and they have suicide bombers. But, you know, it's like... the reality is murder. Murder. Period. Oh, fuck yourself, coach. See, now, that's what I mean about how you have to lie to yourself to maintain your philosophy, which is complete bullshit. You must completely bullshit your own self and rewrite history and change facts. I see you, glasses. Says the Nuremberg trials definitely proved that the people. Well, I didn't see the end of it. What? What were you going to say? It proved they're fanatics, that's for sure. You know you're a fanatic when you do what Goebbels did, which is like we can't even imagine a world that the dear leader is not in, so therefore we must kill ourselves and our entire family. Cool J, you ain't got no facts, bro. The facts are those places are still there and you can go look at them. Do you think I haven't spent any time in your piece of shit alt-right dungeons and seen all the bullshit that you guys sell yourselves? Do you really believe that? That I hadn't spent years. I got banned from Facebook for doing this. For life. Because I went to all your little dungeons where you all lie to yourselves and convince yourselves that every other history, it's like Matt Walsh, when you watch Matt Walsh try to twist and turn and sell that the slavery wasn't so bad and the white people in America aren't fucking terrible. Yes, he is, and he's a Nazi. At least he's honest about it. I'll give you that. I'll give you credit for that, because most of your little sniveling pussies that won't even fucking admit what you are. I'm glad that you at least admit what you are. Chico says not right-wingers fighting right-wingers, man. What do you mean by that? No, because, like I said, the hardcore Nazi right-wingers in this country took control of the Republican Party. And you know what happened? Most of the moderate right-wing Republicans who claimed that they weren't all those things, they fell in line. Mustache says the Nuremberg trials definitely proved that the people just following orders also were guilty. So being ignorant is no excuse for being inherently evil or stupid. And that was what was driving it. Well, that's true. And that's true too, Chico. I agree with that. I've said that a million times. You got to keep it in the middle, not too far left or too far right. What happens is regular people, like middle people like us, right? We're like in the back seat of a car, right? And one guy's driving and he crashes on the left side of the road. The other guy yells and screams and goes, I can drive this car better, you let me drive it. And so they switch, and he drives the car, and now you crash on the right side of the road. People like us are in the back going, hey, why don't you just stay on the fucking road, bro? The truth is that the reality of the situation is that human beings have vastly varied opinions and what viewpoints to look at the world. And for democracy to work correctly, we have to get together, sit down like we are here, talk, and figure out compromises where you get a little bit of what you want and I get a little bit of what I want, but yet we help everyone somehow. Well, we've gotten away from that. Everybody hates the other guy so much that they don't want to help. And you lose your humanity because you start otherizing these other people and forgetting that they're also human beings who deserve dignity and respect. Mustache Glasses says, Bruce, because we all agree we don't like where the car is headed as passengers, what are we to do beyond telling the driver to pull over? I wish I knew the answer to that question. I mean, why do you think I'm sitting here right now? Why do you think that I invest my time to do this? I mean, besides the fact that I was a stand-up comedian and because my mom got sick, I had to move home and give up my comedy career for now. And I can't do it, so I need to do something. But why did I choose to do this? Because I feel like that the internet itself has become a cesspool and a brainwash factory, and like Chico said, most everybody gets on the internet and they just regurgitate the shit that they're told. And the right-wing machine definitely has direction. Like they all get the same script. If you get up in the day and start watching, I love American football, Chico. It's my favorite thing. I watch baseball casually, but I'm not into it. American football, greatest, most exciting sport on the planet, if you ask me. And that's the only one that I really follow, care about. Now, I'll watch the NBA basketball when it gets to the playoffs. I watch, March Madness when college basketball goes on. But I'm not, I don't follow those sports, I do listen to sports talk radio when I'm in the car because I want a break from all this shit. And sports is a good release. But we fucked up college sports in this country with the NIL shit. Coach McGoat said, can I do his taxes? He looked like the right guy to ask. Well, you would be mistaken. I am not the right guy to ask to do your taxes. Mustache Glasses says, fucking A, man, the ghost ship has life. These effing people are screwing us as we go screaming. Yes. Yes. The very fact that billionaires could convince regular jerk-offs that they cared about them simply by putting on a trucker hat tells you just how fucking far down the road we are to epic stupidity. Chico is also, the sport was better then. Now they don't even play defense. And if you touch a guy, it's a foul. Yes, Coach McGoats, I can take a joke. They're not all Jews, Cool J. See, you're... I admire the fact that you stuck out here for the whole hour, but your whole viewpoint is fucked. Yes, Chico, it's one of the greatest sports ever. It's like chess with people. Like once you start getting down into it, and you start looking at how they draw it, plays, and it's like chess with people. John says, what billionaires are you talking about? Exactly. Trump's not a fucking billionaire. I mean, I'm sorry, Trump's not a Jew. Now he's surrounded by a lot of them. I will give you that. Chico says, I chose Seattle because I have no affiliation with any American cities, so I chose Seattle. Well, congratulations, you won the Super Bowl. Mustache says, but if Trump walked out with the little green man and the aliens were real, we as a society would move on so quickly past the Epstein shit and everything else. whatever, Cool J. Like, I don't even. I gotta say, I don't respect your opinion whatsoever. Now, if you want to come here and try to convince me of that your opinion is correct, then you're more than welcome to do that. But to just sit here and spew, it's so easy to do that. It's like you just blame all your troubles on the fucking Jews, and then you don't gotta look into the mirror. Well, that is true. He did not convert. Trump did not convert to Judaism. But yeah, his kids are married to him. That is true. Jared Kushner, Jew. You know. Laura Trump. No, I'm not. See what I mean? The very fact that you can't just accept the reality of what I'm telling you is very exemplary of your whole entire worldview. That you can't accept the reality of anything. Chico says to the divisions and the conferences and shit. Yeah, I mean, I was born in Cincinnati, so I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan and have been for life. Yeah, Julia, our resident Jew, Julia, is not here today. She's usually here every episode, and today she's not here for Cool J's fucking anti-Semitism hour. Anyway, I'm running over time as usual. Listen, if you just stumbled upon this show today, please, Chico, please subscribe to the show. Maybe. But see, the Jews are like everybody else. They have cool people, they have liberals, they have conservatives, and they also have monsters like Benjamin Netanyahu. But you know, it's like, but that doesn't mean that all Jews are terrible people. You know, we're all the same, and until we can decide, I mean, we're not all the same. That's what I said. We all have varied perspectives, but until we realize that we have more in common than differences, and we start focusing on that instead of the differences, we're always going to be fucked. That's right, Coates. Politicians want to tear us apart by fighting each other to distract from their own actions. Exactly. Mainly these Epstein files. It's like that. Anyway, I got to get out of here. But please, Chico, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to this show, you just stumbled upon me today, discover me, because I will say this. My viewership has been going up and up and up lately, and so I thank each and every person who's been hanging out here. And this show is starting to become what I envisioned it to be when I started, which is a big giant discussion with a bunch of people with varied opinions. Because, like I said, I want to reiterate, I'm not here to tell you what to think. You're free to think whatever you want. Thank you, Chico. And again, you're free to think what you want. I'm just here to give you my perspective, and we can talk about it. Yes, John is correct. It does matter because you lied. Exactly. You can't believe anything. I know. I'm in the United States. I'm getting ready to tell you when I'm on. I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. So Chico says it's 11 o'clock on Sunday morning in Australia. See, you're a whole day ahead. So for you, I'm on at, it's 11 o'clock now, so I'm on at 10 o'clock on Sunday mornings. Which means I'll be on Wednesdays. I really get confused. Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays if you're in Australia. What's up, Brian? And like I said, this show has been growing exponentially lately. The last month, I've been doing it for a year and no one paid attention. And now all of a sudden, it's starting to come on. Yes, Formula One starts today, Chico. I don't know. I guess you'd just call it a birthday present, wouldn't you? I mean, technically it's not a crime, I guess. Well, thank you, Chico. I appreciate that. And like I said, I'm here every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. If you want to send me a private message, it's Bruce Leonard Leans Left at Outlook.com. If you're in Iran, I'd like to apologize for what's happening. But I don't know what to tell you. Well, call me. Maybe you should watch the rest, or watch the show from the beginning, or last episode, or a whole episode. Don't make a judgment on me because you saw me for 10 seconds. What are you talking about, Cool J? They've been doing that for 1,000 years. Like more and more people are noticing the Jew. Really? It's like anti-Semitism is just now brewing up to the surface. Are you fucking kidding me, man? See, that's what I mean about your bullshit perspective. It's ridiculous. It's like I said, to maintain your bullshit perspective, you gotta lie to yourself. You gotta lie. Yes, Chico, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a militant leftist. I'm more of a, like I said, I'm a humanist. But humanist has no place in the modern Republican Party in the United States because they've gone full Nazi. That's nothing I can support. And they're liars, like I said. You can't believe them, like I said. But once again, if you haven't liked the channel, subscribe to the channel. Please do. I need more subscribers. I need all that stuff. If you like this show, tell your friends. Turn your people onto it. If you got social media, please share it on your social media. Say, hey, I found this weird, crazy guy, and it's pretty entertaining. Please watch. That's like, I broke my viewership record last episode, and let's try to do that again. And one more time. I said Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But the entire world isn't insane anti-Semite Nazis, bro. You're a small group who've always been around, and every now and then you bubble up to the surface, and the rest of us gotta tamp you back down and kick your fucking ass, and that's what happens every time, and that's what's gonna happen this time. You'll go back into your little closet for another 50 fucking years or whatever before you bubble back out again. You're like putting trash into the fucking... Well, my theme song right now is My Friend's Band. No, it's not telepathic. They were printing rags and all kinds of shit. Before that was word of mouth, you know. It's hate has always been around, bro. And ignorance and stupidity. It's hallmarks of the human race. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I said I'm way over time. This show is only an hour long, but you made it an hour and 13. Like I said, thank you, each and every one of you that's here. I truly appreciate even Nazi Cool J for hanging out. Like I said, I don't hate you, bro. I'd like to know where you got these ideas. You want to come back and explain it to me, please? I would love that. Or we could talk about it. I told you my mom watches Law and Order over and over and over and over. You're not going to make shit count, bro. The Jews are driving the car. You just said it. Your dear leader's in the car with them. So, again, you're lying to yourself about the whole thing. You fundamentally misunderstand everything, which is how you're so easily fucking manipulated. Anyway, I'd like to thank Coco from Australia for hanging out, and everyone else, please. So you hate everybody. Shocker. You know what I bet you hate the most? Yourself. That's where this all comes from, isn't it? You're probably a fucking epic loser that you gotta fucking blame your fucking troubles on everybody else because you can't fucking manage to make a life of your own. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. Again, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I said you can send me a private message at Bruce Leonard Leans Left at Outlook.com. Thank you to everybody all around the world who's watched me today. And like I said, if you like this show, tell your friends. Share it on your social media, please. Like I said, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll be back on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. I love each and every one of you. Thank you very much. Good night.